Morning. We are on Math 6, Monday, May 4th, and we're on lesson 125. And today we're going to move from perimeter into area. So if you remember, perimeter was when we measured the outside of a shape, and area is when we're going to measure how much is on the inside of the shape. So it's the difference in finding trim that goes around the boards that go around the edge of the room, or finding carpet that covers the entire floor. So area is covering the entire floor. Okay, so let's begin. When I have a rectangle and I want to find the area, I can no longer use straight lines. It would take me a long time to draw enough lines at a certain measurement to fill that up. We can't measure it in straight lines like we did around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 1 unit square. So whatever my units are. So let's just say I want to measure this in feet. I'm going to make a 1 foot by 1 foot square. That means that every side of this square is 1 foot. Okay? Then I'm going to take my squares and I'm going to see how many of those 1 by 1 squares do I need to fill up my box. Okay? So I'm going to take my, let's see how many 1 foot by 1 foot boxes. Okay? It takes, so I take my 1 foot, I put it in there, and then I see, well, how many squares does it take to fill up this rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it took 18 square feet to fill up that box. So this is why when we use area, we put things in squares. Okay? Another way to write this, which you'll be writing it, is 18 feet squared. And so we use that exponent of squared to give our answer. So this would be a proper answer for this box. Okay? Now, let's talk about some quicker ways that I could do this besides drawing all the squares inside the shape. Well, one way is I could measure and see how many boxes are going down, 3, and how many boxes are going across, 6, and I could say that 6 times 3. I could say the length times the width will give me the area. So 3 times 6 equals 18. Use my unit of feet squared. So I don't actually have to see the boxes on the inside to be able to find the area. So the area of any square or rectangle is the length times the width. Okay, but make sure that you square the unit. It's really important and an important part of your answer. Okay, so let's talk about if I have a parallelogram. Something unique has happened here. Okay, now this length of our side, the slant height, is going to mess us up. Okay, we can't now do the length times the width. Okay, so I want you to go back and look at this. Instead of using the length times the width, we could actually call the length the height. So length and height are kind of the same thing here. Oops. TH. Okay, they're kind of the same thing here. But in this case, the length of the pen is not the same as the height of the pen, right? So we want the true height of this parallelogram, okay? So the formula to find a parallelogram is that the area will equal the base times the height. Now we've kind of changed the words from length and width, haven't we? So in this case, we want the base, which is the length of either the bottom or the top, okay? And in this case, we can see that the base is 6 squares or 6 units across. And then the height we can see of the parallelogram is 4 units, okay? 4 units. Now, what you'll see that they did here is they took this triangle off and erased it, and then they moved it over here to make a perfect square so that you could see those 4 units are the width, okay? But the area is the base times the real height of the parallelogram. So we would say the area equals 6 times 4, which equals 24 units squared. So we don't have a measurement, so we'd say units squared. Okay? All right. Now, let's look down at that last shape that they give us. Let me do some erasing. Okay, and they give us this shape that has a parallelogram. Oops. Connected, let me fix that parallelogram. A parallelogram connected to a rectangle. Okay? So it wants us to find the area of this shape. Okay? Well, if we don't have this here, this line in the middle, and they just give us this one shape, then we see that if we draw a line, then I can find the area of this rectangle, and I could just add it to when I find the area of this parallelogram. Okay? But there's some information that I need. Okay? First, let's find the area of this one. Okay? They give us that this one is 1.8 centimeters. And they tell us that the base of the rectangle is 3.5 centimeters. Okay, so again, I'll allow you to use your calculator. We want to do the length times the width here to find the area of this rectangle. So 3.5 times 1.8. We get 6.3 centimeters squared. Okay, now let's find the area of this shape. Well, we know that the base is 3.5, but now I need to find the height of this shape, and if we look, they give it to us, and it's 1.3 centimeters. So I take my 3.5 times 1.3. I get 4.55 centimeters squared. And since they're both in centimeters, I can add them together. So 4.55 plus 6.3 equals 10.85 centimeters squared. And this is the total area of that shape. Okay, I think you are ready. 12 is a challenge question, but I think you'll do great at it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd like for you to do numbers 1 through 14 today, and Marco Polo me if you need help.